The pizza delivery driver, Alex, had been on the job for a few months, but he had never had a delivery quite like this one. He was driving down a dark and deserted street when he saw the house. It was a large Victorian house with a wraparound porch and a turret. The house was dark and silent, and Alex felt a chill run down his spine. Alex pulled up to the house and got out of his car. He walked to the front door and rang the doorbell. He waited for a few seconds, but no one answered. He rang the doorbell again, and this time he waited longer. Still no answer. Alex was about to leave when he heard a noise coming from inside the house. It was a faint sound, but Alex could tell that it was the sound of someone moving around. Alex took a deep breath and knocked on the door. "Hello?" he said. "Pizza delivery." The door opened slowly, and Alex saw a man standing there. The man was tall and thin, with pale skin and dark hair. He was wearing a black suit and tie. "Hello," the man said. "I'm sorry I didn't answer the door sooner. I was in the back of the house." "No problem," Alex said. "I just wanted to make sure you were home." The man smiled. "I'm definitely home," he said. "Come on in." Alex hesitated for a moment, but then he decided to go inside. He followed the man into the house. The house was dark and gloomy, and it smelled like dust and cobwebs. The man led Alex into a large living room. The living room was furnished with antique furniture, and there was a fireplace in the corner. "Would you like something to drink?" the man asked. "No, thank you," Alex said. "I'm just here to deliver your pizza." "Oh, right," the man said. "The pizza. Why don't you put it down on the coffee table?" Alex put the pizza down on the coffee table and then turned to leave. But the man stopped him. "Wait a minute," the man said. "I haven't paid you yet." Alex turned back around. "Oh, that's okay," he said. "You can pay me later." No, the man said. "I insist." The man reached into his pocket and pulled out a wallet. He opened the wallet and took out a $20 bill. He handed the bill to Alex. "Thank you," Alex said. "Have a good night." Alex turned and walked towards the door, but as he was walking, he heard the man's voice behind him. "Wait a minute," the man said. "I almost forgot." Alex turned back around. "What is it?" he asked. The man smiled. "I have a gift for you," he said. The man reached into his pocket and pulled out a small knife. He opened the knife and held it out to Alex. "It's not much," the man said, "but I hope you like it." Alex looked at the knife in the man's hand. He didn't know what to say. "Here," the man said. "Take it." Alex hesitated for a moment, but then he took the knife. He thanked the man and then turned and walked out of the house. Alex got into his car and drove away. He looked down at the knife in his hand. He didn't know why he had taken it, but he felt like he needed to have it. Alex drove for a few more minutes, and then he saw a police car in the rearview mirror. The police car pulled him over. Alex rolled down his window. "What's the matter, officer?" he asked. "Good evening, sir," the officer said. "Do you know why I pulled you over?" "No," Alex said. "I don't." "I pulled you over because you were driving erratically," the officer said. "Can I see your license and registration, please?" Alex handed the officer his license and registration. The officer looked at them for a moment, and then he handed them back to Alex. "Everything seems to be in order," the officer said. Alex continued driving home, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He glanced down at the knife in his hand and wondered why he had taken it. He knew that he should get rid of it, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. When Alex got home, he went straight to his room. He locked the door and sat down on his bed. He looked at the knife in his hand again and sighed. He knew that he had to do something with it, but he didn't know what. Alex decided to put the knife in his drawer. He didn't want to look at it anymore. He just wanted to forget about it all. Alex went to bed, but he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the serial killer and the knife. He wondered what the serial killer would do if he knew that Alex had the knife. Alex finally fell asleep, but his sleep was restless. He dreamed that he was being chased by the serial killer. The serial killer was holding a knife, and he was laughing. Alex woke up the next morning feeling tired and drained. He got out of bed and went to the bathroom to brush his teeth. He looked in the mirror and saw that he had dark circles under his eyes. Alex went downstairs to make breakfast, but he didn't have much of an appetite. He ate a few bites of toast and then went to the living room to watch TV. Alex tried to focus on the TV, but he couldn't concentrate. He kept thinking about the serial killer and the knife. He wondered if the serial killer was after him. Alex stood up and turned off the TV. He went to his room and opened the drawer where he had put the knife. He picked up the knife and looked at it. Alex knew that he had to get rid of the knife. He couldn't keep it. He decided to take the knife to the police station. Alex got into his car and drove to the police station. He went inside and talked to a police officer. He told the officer about the serial killer and the knife. The police officer was shocked. He couldn't believe that Alex had the knife. He took the knife from Alex and said that he would have it tested for fingerprints. The police officer thanked Alex for coming forward. He said that Alex's information could help them to catch the serial killer. Alex left the police station feeling relieved. He had finally gotten rid of the knife, and he knew that he had done the right thing. Alex drove home and went straight to his room. He collapsed on his bed and fell asleep immediately.
Next story.
I was a pizza delivery driver. It was a summer job to help me earn some extra money while I was in college. I had been doing it for a few months, and I had never had any problems. I was always on time, and I was always polite. But one night, everything changed. It was a Friday night, and I was delivering pizzas to a circus. The circus had come to town for the weekend, and it was packed with people. I pulled up to the circus grounds and parked my car. I grabbed the pizzas and started walking towards the entrance. As I got closer, I could see that the circus was even more crowded than I had imagined. There were people of all ages, and they were all laughing and having a good time. I could hear the music from the rides and the smell of popcorn in the air. I finally made it to the entrance and showed my ticket to the usher. He waved me through, and I started walking towards the back of the circus grounds, where the food vendors were located. I found the pizza vendor and handed him the pizzas. He thanked me and gave me the money. I turned to leave, but then I heard a noise behind me. I turned around and saw a group of clowns standing there. The clowns were all different shapes and sizes, but they all had the same painted-on smiles and sad, empty eyes. They were all wearing colorful costumes and holding balloons. "Hello there, pizza boy," one of the clowns said. "What have you got for us?" I held up the pizzas. "I have a delivery for you," I said. "Oh, goody," the clown said. "We love pizza." The clown started to walk towards me. I felt a chill run down my spine. I didn't like the way they were looking at me. "Wait a minute," I said. "You didn't pay for the pizzas." "Oh, don't worry about that," the clown said. "We'll pay you later." The clowns surrounded me. I tried to back away, but they were too close. I looked around for help, but there was no one else there. "I don't like this," I said. "I'm just going to leave." "Oh, no," the clown said. "You can't leave. You have to stay and play with us." The clowns grabbed me and started to drag me away. I screamed for help, but no one could hear me. They dragged me to the back of the circus grounds, to a dark and secluded area. I could hear the sound of the rides and the laughter of the crowd, but it seemed far away. The clowns threw me to the ground. I looked up at them, and my heart sank. Their smiles were gone, and their eyes were filled with hatred. "You're going to pay for what you did," one of the clowns said. "I don't know what you're talking about," I said. "I didn't do anything." "You know what you did," the clown said. "You ruined our lives." The clowns raised their fists and started to beat me. I tried to fight back, but they were too strong. I curled up into a ball and tried to protect myself, but they kept beating me. I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. I had a concussion and a broken rib, but I was alive. The police came to talk to me. They told me that they had found me unconscious in the circus grounds. They said that I had been attacked by a group of clowns, but they didn't know who they were or why they had attacked me. The police investigated the attack, but they never found the clowns. The circus left town the next day, and I never saw them again. But I still think about them sometimes. I still see their painted-on smiles and their sad, empty eyes in my nightmares. And I still wonder why they attacked me.
Next story.
It was a winter night, and I was delivering a pizza to a remote cabin in the woods. The snow was falling heavily, and the wind was howling. I pulled up to the cabin and parked my car. I grabbed the pizza and started walking towards the front door. As I got closer, I could see that the cabin was dark and silent. I knocked on the door, but there was no answer. I knocked again, louder this time. Still no answer. I tried the doorknob, and it turned. The door opened slowly, and I stepped inside. The cabin was cold and dark. I could hear the wind whistling outside, and the snow was blowing in through the cracks in the door. I called out, "Hello? Is anyone there?" There was no answer. I took a step inside and closed the door behind me. I fumbled for the light switch and found it. I turned it on, and the cabin was filled with a dim light. I looked around. The cabin was small and sparsely furnished. There was a fireplace in the corner, and a table and chairs in the middle of the room. A single bed was pushed against the wall. I walked over to the table and set down the pizza. I looked around again, but there was no sign of anyone. I called out again, "Hello? Is anyone there?" Still no answer. I started to feel uneasy. I didn't know who had ordered the pizza or why they hadn't answered the door. I decided to leave. I walked over to the door and turned the doorknob, but it wouldn't turn. I tried again, but it was stuck. I pounded on the door, but it wouldn't open. I was trapped. I ran to the window and looked out. The snow was still falling heavily, and the wind was still howling. I couldn't see anything but white. I tried the window, but it was locked. I pounded on it, but it wouldn't open. I was trapped. I started to panic. I didn't know what to do. I was all alone in a remote cabin in the woods, and a snowstorm was raging outside. I sat down on the bed and tried to calm down. I told myself that everything was going to be okay, that someone would find me soon. But as the hours passed, I started to lose hope. I was cold and hungry, and I was starting to get scared. I thought about my family and friends. I thought about all the things I would never get to do if I died in this cabin. I started to cry. I cried for my life. I cried for my lost dreams. I cried until I fell asleep. I woke up the next morning to the sound of birds chirping. I opened my eyes and saw that the sun was shining. The snow had stopped falling. I got out of bed and went to the window. I looked out, and I saw that the cabin was surrounded by a group of people. They were all wearing snowsuits and carrying shovels. They were digging a path to the cabin. I ran to the door and opened it. The people came rushing in. "Are you okay?" one of them asked. I nodded. "I'm fine," I said. "Just a little shaken up." The people helped me out of the cabin and into the sunlight. I took a deep breath of fresh air.
As a huge support, please hit like, subscribe, and maybe share your thought or any experience before going to watch another video. Thank you so much. Have a good day.